I had whispered to the minister that there is viral information going on in the country alleging that Makerere University has found poisonous matter in the rice on the market and in the water. I had asked for clarification, and I thought that since we are talking about food security, that would also touch on the matter enough to draw his attention, but I see that the House is taking leave of the matter, and it agitates me that that is skipped. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, point of procedure is provided for under Rule 78. Okay? Very clearly provided for under Rule 78. Now, Rule 42 applies when you're in either debate or before and you want to ask a minister any question. Because now, at any time, we are going to be having issues of that kind. I want us to use Rule 42 cautiously. Now, the minister's statement is under Rule 52, for which we allow a debate or I don't allow a debate. A debate can come up or it doesn't come up. But this is a substantive, you're raising a critical issue, okay? So, Honourable Minister, take note, and please get time, we address the concern raised by Honourable Zijan Livingston. Thank you. Next item.
Item 4.2, statement by Minister on the rising fuel prices in the country.
Honourable Minister for Energy. Point of procedure, Honourable Chibadia.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, with your intervention, since this information is circulating in the public, and for the interest of the protection of the industry, the Minister would be unanswered and say, it's not verified, it's not true until we come out. So the Minister would really say something for the interest of the public outside here, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, we have a media that we do not control what they write. The report in the media is alluding to a research paper from a University of Makerere. A research paper, Professor Mshemeza may know better, our teacher, it depends on the sample space you've handled. And it also depends on the credibility of where the paper has been published. So this is an issue. We took serious exception to it. We've raised our concerns to the newspaper, and we will discuss with Makerere. It's really an alarmist reporting. But all our food is safe. Rice imported is checked by UNBS. So we should not be held at ransom by media houses wanting to increase sales. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, where you feel that you want to clarify more, please, we can give you a chance. You come here and you clarify more. Yes. Honourable Minister for Energy.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. This is a statement to Parliament on the rising prices of fuel in Uganda. And Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you for this opportunity to once again come and clarify the House. My ministry has submitted to this House previously on the impact of rising global prices of petroleum products in the country. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, you are aware that Uganda operates a liberalized downstream petroleum market where pump prices are determined by the forces of demand and supply as guided by the Petroleum Supply Act of 2003 and the Petroleum Supply General Regulations of 2009. For the last 1 month, prices have not changed and the country has remained well supplied, meaning we didn't have scarcity of the products. My ministry will continue to monitor the subsector to ensure that Uganda's market gets continuous supply of petroleum products throughout all the supply routes at competitive prices. To further benefit in having stable supply and improvement in pump prices, my ministry is supporting Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, which is a government company, to supply all oil marketing companies in Uganda. And it is planned that effective January 2024, Uganda's oil marketing companies will be directly supplied by Uganda National Oil Company, which will improve security of supply and will result in very competitive pump prices. Colleagues are aware of the system that we go through, the open tender system in Kenya, where at times Kenya chooses to allocate products destined to Uganda to their own local companies. So we want to come out of this. And I will bring an amendment of the Petroleum Supply Act to support the Uganda National Oil Company in this endeavor next week. Right Honorable Speaker, Uganda's pump prices compared to Tanzania and Kenya are as indicated in the table below. The retail pump prices comparisons as of 25th of October 2023. On the regional comparison of fuel pump prices per liter of petrol and diesel. That table has figures, for example, on petrol. If you look at Tanzania, in Tanzanian shillings, that is 3,281. At Mombasa, cost is 214.30. At Nairobi Central is 217.36. And at Eldoret Western is 217.12. And Mandera at Northern at 231.36. Then in Uganda, Kampala, in Ugandan shillings, that is 5,400. And that's for petrol. And for diesel, 3,448 at Tanzania. And then at Mombasa is 202.41. Nairobi is 205.47. And Eldoret is 205.65. And Mandera is 219.47. And then in Uganda, diesel is at 5,000. And I've indicated the exchange rate. And I've also changed it to the figures below. That is for premium, 4,922 in Tanzania, 5,743. Nairobi, 5,825. Eldoret, 5,819. And then Mandera, 6,200. For Uganda, I gave you the figures already in shillings, which is 5,400. So you can compare 5,400 in Uganda, in Tanzania, 4,900, in Mombasa, 5,700. And I've also indicated for diesel. Tanzania is 5,172, while Uganda remains at 5,000. So these are the comparisons I have indicated to the prices as they stand. So, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, just to encourage you to watch the prices as they are determined globally, but Uganda suffers more because of the Kenyan system. And government is not going to look on to come and lament all the time when we have powers to amend our law so that we empower Uganda National Oil Company to do the direct importation so that we don't suffer the many layers that the Kenyan government puts in place. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Honorable, you have a chance to debate. Why do you need a clarification? Yeah? You do. Honorable colleagues, we have two statements that are closely related. Okay? So, in the interest of time and having a debate where we shall not repeat ourselves, let's have the next statement and then we have one.
Statement 4.3, statement on the status of oil and gas projects in the country.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable and colleagues. Statement to Parliament on the status of oil and gas projects in the country. Right Honourable Speaker, the purpose of this statement is to update the House on the current status of the country's oil and gas projects, call them petroleum projects. As mentioned in my previous statements, Uganda's Albertine Graben is a mature oil and gas province that has 9 production licenses issued to Total Energies EP Uganda BV, China North Offshore Oil Company, CNOC, Uganda Limited, and the Uganda National Oil Company Limited, UNOC. Right Honourable Speaker and Members of Parliament, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development is leading the formulation of a comprehensive national petroleum policy following the review of the National Oil and Gas Policy of 2008 and Energy Policy of 2002 to address the entire petroleum value chain and emerging issues. The new policy will create a conducive environment for faster and efficient exploration, development, production, and commercialization of discovered resources and utilization of petroleum products in the country, while acknowledging the energy transition initiatives. So we plan to conclude the policy before end of this financial year. On exploration, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, in the effort to increase our resource base, we issued exploration licenses to Arma Energy Limited over the Kanyuataba area, Oranto Petroleum Limited over the Ngasa Shallow and Deep in 2017, and more recently, 2023, we issued exploration license to Uganda National Oil Company over the Kasurubani block and DGR Global over the Turako block. My ministry is also increasing efforts to explore for more petroleum areas in new basins, such as the Moroto Kadam Basin, where oil seeps have been identified on the surface, Choga and Hoima basins. We do still have potential in those areas. So on the development and production, Right Honourable Speaker and members, the drilling of development and production wells was launched on the 24th of January, 2023, not 2024, at the Kingfisher field by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, witnessed by Her Excellency, the Vice President, among others. Development and production drilling for the Tilenga project also commenced in June 2023. A total of 11 wells have been drilled, 8 in the Tilenga area and 3 in the Kingfisher area. These wells are being drilled using 3 rigs for Tilenga and 1 rig for Kingfisher. At peak production, Right Honourable Speaker, all fields mentioned above will produce 230,000 barrels of oil per day for 5 years. The Tilenga project will produce 190,000 barrels a day of oil a day at peak, while the Kingfisher field will produce 40,000 barrels of oil per day at peak. So in total, the above production will require a total of 457 wells and 35 well pads. Right Honorable Speaker, out of the 457 wells, 426 will be for Tilenga, while 31 wells will be for Kingfisher. Construction of the central processing facilities, both at Kingfisher and Tilenga, is ongoing and on schedule to be ready by 2025. Colleagues, the central processing facilities do the primary processing before crude is subjected either to the refinery or for export through the East African crude oil pipeline.
Now, Honourable Minister,
That,
sorry for interruption. Now, I have an issue. There is very critical information you always have. You leave out in a statement. You bring it to us off cuff. I've been listening, just watching you reading your statement, and it's very critical. It's not that I'm questioning the information you're giving. But you see, this statement, once it is uploaded, we always refer to it, even after here. Now I will need to go and dig through the Hansard to get this information. Yet, if you had captured all of it in a statement, it would be very easy. So always give us those details in a statement, Honourable Minister. Please.
most obliged. And I will try to make sure that I do not do further clarifications as I read. And I will clarify more during debate. Thank you so much. So I was talking about the central processing facilities, and I have informed this House that the yes, that Tilenga's 190,000 barrels of crude oil capacity, central processing facilities which is under construction is currently at 33% complete, while the Kingfisher's 40,000 barrels everyday capacity, the central processing facility is under construction and is currently at 12% complete. The laying of interconnecting pipelines of the Kingfisher feeder pipelines to the export hub has already commenced. It is expected that 80 kiloton and 20 kiloton per year of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, will respectively be produced from the Tilenga and Kingfisher projects. This will enable the country to reduce on deforestation and hence save us from any climate change impacts. On the refinery project, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, government is taking forward the development of the 60,000 barrels per day of refinery in Kabale, Hoima district. I will be announcing the winning bidder for the refinery project soon after the project framework agreement with Alberta and Graben Energy Consortium expiring in June. The next one is to announce the winning bidder. Yes. Regarding the refined products pipeline project that traverses 6 districts over a distance of 213 kilometers from Hoima to Mpiji, land acquisition process is currently ongoing and it is at 74%. On the East African crude oil pipeline, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, government in January 2023 issued a permit to the East African Crude Oil Pipeline Company to construct the pipeline. The progress for detailed design for the eco pipeline and attendant facilities being undertaken by Wholly in London and Dar es Salaam stands at 66%. Construction of the thermal insulation plant in Tanzania is at 95%. Together with the installation of equipment for 2 coating trains is ongoing. In Uganda, civil works connected in August and commenced in August and will be followed by works at the other camps. The Resettlement Action Plan, RAP, for affected persons within the 10 districts where the East African crude oil pipeline crosses is also ongoing, and approximately 94% of the affected persons have consented and signed documents, while 88% of the affected persons who opted for cash payments have been cleared and paid. The ministry and companies and key stakeholders are attending to grievances associated with land acquisition process. In conclusion, Right Honourable Speaker and members, government and its partners are working tirelessly, and I am happy to report that we are on track to have the first oil by the end of 2025. I thank you, colleagues, for your continued support, and I would like to invite the Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues to come on the ground and see what I have told you in this document. You will always be very welcome, Right Honourable Speaker. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. I checked the schedule in my office today. They were proposing that I should visit you around December. Okay, yeah. In the month of December, check through, and we work together so that we can visit the ground, and we see what's going on. Now, honourable colleagues, the statements are clear. Listen to me. You know, of course, politicians can never fail to debate. I know. Politicians, even when someone doesn't want to speak, he starts by saying, you know, I didn't want to speak, but. Oh, I have nothing to say, but. Okay? So I know once we give a chance, it always happens. So I'll just, and you know it's my discretion on these statements. So I'll just pick around 10 people so that we have it concluded. Now I'm starting from this side because last time I started from this side. So I'll pick Oseku, I pick Areper, I pick Ochai, I pick Nakut, I pick Ogwal, I pick the lady, Christine, I pick Chairman Natural Resources Committee, and I pick Wakori for now. Then I will see. Yes, then I come here. No, I'm starting with this side, then I come here.
Thank you.
Let's do.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to appreciate the Minister for the statement, and like it has been said, statements of this nature bring all of us as members of Parliament on board, and we'll be able to build a hope among the citizenry of this country about progress and economic development. However, I've listened to the statement by Honourable Minister. The issue of the East African crude oil pipeline and it is funding, which to some extent, some time back we were told that funders were being discouraged from giving us that money. Could you also give us some insight on how we're progressing towards achieving that? Thank you.
Thank you. Adepe.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to commend the Honorable Minister for the statement. Mine is just one comment for that matter. I would like to implore all the ministries in situations that arise like this particular one, they should be more proactive and not to be prompted to make these statements. This is a situation which requires that type of management of institutions of this similar nature. From what I see in the statement, this is the normal narrative. We're about to explore, we're about to do this and that sort of thing. There's nothing that can really give us hope. And I think you just need to re-engineer the way you manage some of these things. That's why you need to learn from the comments that we make whenever you make these statements. If you get this statement and compare with the one that I've just seen, the one that you made the last time that there was, it is just the same narrative. So let's see how we can make things a bit better for this country. Otherwise, it will just be mere position holding, coming to present your face, coming to read a statement, appearing in the press, and it becomes business as usual. And this business as usual is what is actually boring the country. Thank you.
I don't have anyone on the floor, Honourable Minister. Thank you. Yes, Honourable Naku.
Right Honourable Speaker, there are two questions for clarifications from me. One question is on the first report. It is sad to note that Uganda is at the mercy of Kenyan importers. The question I have to the Minister is, what is it that is making it difficult for UNOC to become an importer? What? The second question comes from the second report. It is on the required 457 wells versus the accomplished 11 wells. Yet the Minister gives us the assurance that by 2025, there will be oil. In my view, that speed, 11 over 457. Why not tell the country the truth? If that's for clarification, please clarify. Maybe I didn't get you right. Then finally, Right Honourable Speaker, we have witnessed a number of events, launching this, breaking this, then final investment decision, all those things. It gives hope to the country, but is it reliable, is it true? And I would implore the Minister to reduce those events, given that we are not likely to get the oil by 2025 with the numbers you have given.
Thank you, Ogwa.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. And thank you, Minister, for your presentation. The first one is on the oil company. Can you clarify whether we will not create a monopoly? A monopoly in the terms of NOC. What are we going to avoid that? Because you're saying you want to front that and so on. That's one area. The second thing, Right Honourable Speaker, I tend to agree with what Aleper is saying. Honourable Aleper said, I think the issue of price is a macroeconomic issue. And possibly the Ministry of Energy may not explain fully the challenges of price related even to oil, because there are so many other factors, exchange rate and so on. So it may require the government element which is in charge of macroeconomic stability to come and help in explaining this with a better solution. Secondly, because of the high price, where the minister has control is production, so that we may benefit from the high price. as a country. Is there a way we can have the first oil faster than what you have planned so that we get this high price faster? Lastly, the benefits. You have launched FDI, as my colleague here mentioned. Can we clearly get and follow up the benefits we'll have from oil, especially in other sectors, and we have it mainstreamed in the planning so that the other sectors can benefit, or at least plan to benefit, like agriculture? Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Honorable Ogwal Moses, you see, government does not work in silos. I can't call the Minister for Energy here, then tomorrow we call one for finance because it's a macroeconomic issue. You know, it will be difficult. Government doesn't work in silos. Because I'm very sure even this is a matter which must be discussed at cabinet level. And then you have the input of all ministers. So for us, the minister in charge of the sector has power rules. That's where we go. Now, it will be up to the minister to know, can be supported by so and so and so, as my colleagues, to come up with a very strong statement that is more convincing and acceptable. So we can debate the statement the way it is without discounting the efforts of the minister to say we need another minister. Okay? Thank you. Honorable Max Ochai. Now, I've already picked the colleagues to speak, please. This side, I'm done.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for this opportunity. Mine is a humble request, but before I place the request to the Minister of Energy, may I take this opportunity, first of all, to thank her for the clear statement she made, particularly on the rising price of oil. Mr. Speaker, to macroeconomists, the information given to us is adequate. However, I would request the Minister to kindly consider...
So are you one of them? I know Max very well.
May I kindly request the Honourable Minister to consider publishing for us high-frequency data on retail fuel pump prices so that maybe on a weekly basis we can consume and get ourselves updated. I thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Tara, Honourable Christine.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I would like also to add my voice in thanking the Honourable Minister for her clear statement. But for the benefit of this House, as the chairperson that oversees the sector, I would like the Minister to clarify to this House the fact that UNOC, she's planning that UNOC will be buying oil products for this country, as opposed to our reliance on our neighbors, Kenya. And the reason we've been relying on our neighbors, Kenya, is that we as a country cannot buy directly from the oil producers because the budgets really require large volumes that we as a country cannot order for. So I'm just wondering how this is now going to be done so that we can directly buy from the oil producers. My second issue that I would like the Minister to clarify to this House, Right Honourable Speaker, is in respect to when we shall be getting the first oil. I know, according to the roadmap that was previously set, we expected to get the first oil by May 2025. But today, in the minister's statement, she said end of 2025. And so this now rings my mind that the roadmap is beginning to shift. And so, which means something is happening that we need to be clarified on whether actually we shall be able to get the first oil by 2025. And finally, Right Honourable Speaker, the refined product pipeline. you see, refining the petroleum products in Hoima and transporting those refined products to Mpiji and again retransporting them using trucks back to the western part of the country seems not to be a well thought out plan. So I'm just imploring the minister whether this could still be modified so that some refined products are left going to the western part of the country other than being transported to Mpiji and then being taken back. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable question, then Honorable Akori.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Appreciation to the Honorable Minister for the statement. Right Honorable Minister and the Right Honorable Speaker, I want to say that originally some 2 years back, the year Ugandans were given information on the production of oil was 2023. So I want to plead with the minister to be consistent in these messages. Because now the population is not going to believe us. If we are going to say oil is going to be there in 2023, we are talking about 2025. And to be sincere, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to request the minister to actually accept the statement, and in the report we will have a statement saying that the oil prices are fluctuating. They are not stable because we are not at the rate that was true of oil the last 6 months. And then the second one is clarification. The Honourable Minister has told us about the agreement expiring in June 2023, and yet we are in October. Which agreement is this? Is it still running on? Is it another one? And then also, for work that commenced in August, which year? Like we have talked about different launchings happening in the sector. Which one is this of August? Is it of the oil and the rest, since there are so many? Because as Ugandans would understand, which one started in August last year, August the other year, August in 2023, so that we shall keenly be following up on the commitment of the minister to have oil produced in Uganda by 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Akori.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Let me also join colleagues to thank the Minister for the statement. Right Honorable Speaker, the Minister said that for the last 1 month, the fuel prices have not changed, which I feel is not true. Right Honorable Speaker, the fuel prices pose a serious astronomical effect because, as you all know, the prices of fuel affect everything. We have been talking about food insecurity. We are talking about getting our people out of poverty. But if we do not address the issue of fuel prices in this country, we are headed for a serious conundrum in this country. Right Honorable Speaker, the Minister has talked about refineries, but as we wait, a few months ago, I watched President William Samoei Ruto of Kenya trying to arrest 2 situations in his country. 1, the escalating fuel prices, and 2, climate change issues. And what was he telling his people? That we need now to also look at the path of harnessing energy from solar energy. They have even set up a very huge solar plant in Isholo. Right Honorable Speaker, we have enough sunshine in this country. And we know that it can be one-off investment, much as it is costly. So that instead of relying only electricity, which does not even reach to our people, instead of relying only gasoline, our people can also use solar. He even launched a motorbike, which is not going to use fuel. It is going to be electric, but the electricity is going to be generated by solar energy. If you do this as a country, I operate a few borders. I want to tell you that the issue that the president has been preaching of getting our people out of poverty, a border person who uses 10,000 a day, if he moves to using a solar-powered motorcycle, is going to save a lot and is going to poverty out of his home. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I want the Minister of Energy, instead of only talking about the oil, which was told to our people a long time ago, and now that we are shifting goalposts, why can't we also talk about solar energy in this country, which is everywhere? I beg to submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, I took the member statement to be on e-mobility.
Yeah, e-mobility.
On e-mobility. Otherwise, we end up going into the electricity sector now. So it's on e-mobility and your plans for supporting e-mobility. Honourable Okotogong, Honourable Wanda, Honourable Awogon, Honourable Mara, Honourable Museveni, Okot, DP, Jonam, Teira, Rampala, Komakech, Youth, and I end with Mutembri. Let's do quick, honorable colleagues.
Mr. Speaker and honorable members of Parliament, I think we are not only discussing the statement by the Minister, but also discussing the policy on fuel. First of all, we need to look at the tax that we impose on fuel. Each liter, we impose close to 1,700,000. So that one escalates on the price of fuel. Secondly, we also need to discuss on the policies of how we are going to from engine-powered vehicle to electric-powered vehicles. How the government is planning for a country to save money. Instead of crying on the price of fuel, we use fuel-free vehicles. And these vehicles are already in progress. Honourable members, you have sent me to the Pan-African Parliament. I've been going to other countries. When you go to some countries, they are using now importing and allowing citizens to access electric vehicles. A vehicle that you buy, and for 1 week you charge once, and you use it free for the whole week. That will save us money. We'll not be crying on the fuel of. The third point is on allowing now government to start now engaging in business. UNOC to now engage in business. That is a source of corruption. I know that I'm saying the potential, because we have known how government has been operating. So we need to analyze that one critically. Secondly, we have already had people who have invested a lot of money in fuel reserves, tanks. Like when you go to on the shores of Lake Victoria, there is a plant there which can import close to 100 million liters, 70 million liters in Mahati. Are you going to deal with them, or you are going to chase them away and use government? So we need to how we are going to relate with the government and the private sector. I think once we do that, that would be okay. Can you explain how you are going to relate with the private sector? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Wanda.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for the well-articulated statement. I want to build from where Honorable Okotogong has just stopped. Right Honorable Speaker, the statement from the Minister sheds light and hope for this country. My biggest concern is the synchrony between trade and the Ministry of Energy. Right Honorable Speaker, you know very well that most of the dealers or the operators of fuel are non-Ugandans. They are the big companies which are foreign. How are we preparing our locals to take advantage of the oil? Because my thinking is at that time, you may find that Ugandans are unable to have the infrastructure necessary to take advantage of the oil opportunities. The same resource will now be benefited from by non-Ugandans and other foreign entities. Honorable Minister, my request is we need an engagement with the Ministry of Trade and the local Ugandans that are in that trade to be able to build the capacity from all levels. Actually, there is employment for all levels. But if we do not do it, Ugandans will not benefit from this resource. I also implore you, Honorable Minister, that the deadline you've put, the end of the year 2025, I think let us stick to that. Because with the development in technology, people are drifting away from the use of fossil. And if they begin using solar, then the market of our product may have challenges. But my view is that we need to develop the product as soon as possible, such that we benefit from it. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Algon.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Let me thank the Minister. In my own opinion, you have done well, but we need to help you do better. Yeah.
We need support.
We need to help her. Is there something, Right Honorable Speaker? We need to support her. Yes, because right now you stand for the ministry. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm on the issue of fuel prices. Yesterday I was in Lamo. I thought I was at the middle of South Sudan, maybe, very far. And I just thought about a member of parliament fueling a car from here to go up to Lamo to check on the voters. And you are trying to go 4 times in a month. And just look at the entire coast. Right Honorable Speaker, this can be so disturbing. I want to thank the minister for one thing. I think you are the first minister to bring a statement here without blaming COVID on any of the troubles. I think you are the first. Yes, Right Honorable Speaker, when the prices of fuel first soared in this country, everybody was calling on COVID, condemning COVID, COVID-19. Then after COVID going down, of course the prices also did what? Went down. When Russia came up, they said Russia and Ukraine. Those two have continued to fight. But where is the connection now? Why did the price again start to climb up? Now Israel has come, Gaza is burning, you are not blaming it. Now you are trying to look for other reasons. For that reason, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to call upon you to institute a select committee to look into this special matter of fuel prices. There we shall be able to summon all the stakeholders, and we should be able to go up to Mombasa, include me in the team, so that we check. Yes, we check to find out where is the pipe having a problem. Yes, there, Right Honorable Speaker, we shall be able to handle this problem properly. Let me go to another issue. Right Honorable Speaker.
Point of order. Point of order.
I'm really compelled, Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Cyrus, to begin soliciting support, which is bordering to corruption, that he should be included on a team he is suggesting to be instituted. Is he in order? Is he in order, really, honorable member, and the chairperson of the independents, a honorable member with experience in parliament, who has traversed various parts of the country, including Lamo, is in order?
Thank you. I think really, Honorable Cyrus, since you visited Lamo, you don't need to go to Mombasa. They are very close, so you're not in order. Issues of Mombasa, leave them.
Much obliged, Chair. I was just alluding. You know, I'm a certified public accountant of Uganda. I wanted to add in my expertise.
Now you're questioning
to find out why.
You're questioning my ruling.
I don't want to question your ruling, sir. Right Honourable Speaker, I am so passionate about the airport in Kabale. I think it's called Kabalega. This time around, you didn't talk about it. What is the percentage? Are we now at 99.9%? Where are we? There is this other issue of the PAPs. In your statement, you are saying that those who have not been compensated are going to be handled. Their grievances will be handled by the ministry and the oil companies. Right, Honourable Speaker, I would think it would be better for us to get a special or independent tribunal to handle this issue of the grievances, because this is a massive industry. It is not a smaller thing. It is not petty. So there must be, you cannot be the one who is complained against and you are the one handling the grievance. So how do we handle it? Right, Honourable Speaker, that's a very serious issue and it needs support from your seat. Of course, the dates have continuously shifted. But I know as solutions are invented, challenges also what? Shift. So I stand with you. I stand with you this time around. But can you stand by the end of 2025? Because we are going to collect your statements and bring them here. When you bring yours, we open the first, the second, the last, and then we see whether you're not repeating yourself. So those two, Right Honourable Speaker, have become trends. The issue of what have they been talking about? This economy that we're about to enter the middle income what? Status, and this one of oil, they are becoming twins. They are becoming twins. They move in a certain pattern which is similar. Thank you.
Now, Honourable Cyrus has touched on the issue of Kabarega Airport. And I heard some people saying, is it related? Yes, it is. Why? When we were passing the loan for Kabarega, at that time, Kabare Airport, I'm told now it's Kabarega. When we were passing the loan for the roads, oil roads in Bunyoro, we were told they had facilitate the oil and gas sector. So, and because we believe government works in tandem, it's integrated, then we would need to know on the roads whether we gave you facilities, Honourable Minister, whether we facilitated the production of the oil and gas sector, or whether we are ahead. So that's an angle from which you can approach it. Thank you. Honourable Mara.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. First, I want to appreciate the Minister for the two reports which she has presented eloquently well. And I would want to start with the fuel prices. Right Honourable Speaker, some time back, the Committee of Trade were directed to do an investigation on fuel prices. And the report was presented here in the House. We noted that there are only two companies that control 75% of the fuel which is imported into the country. That is Total Energies and Shell. Those two, they control most of the imports. And we tried to investigate, and most of the times we said we did not have reserves. And our reserves in Jinja was empty. To fill those reserves, Right Honourable Speaker, we will require $40 million. And even then, it will not even take us a week in a crisis. The fuel would be over. That option was not even possible. Now, the minister has come with something which I personally would support. Because we realize that the fuel prices, even if there is no COVID, even if there was no Ukraine-Russian crisis, the prices continue to grow and remain the same. And therefore, which means there was actually an element of greed among those who import fuel. So by government taking action to really begin to import fuel and to create a level of competitiveness, in the word of my fellow economist, the macroeconomic indices It would help us to bring in competition, and the prices will even drop. The moment they hear that the government of Uganda is going to take action to import fuel, for them to sell, they will drop the prices. That is the only way we can help the country. And Right Honorable Speaker, some people had alluded to the idea that we should provide subsidy. The last time I checked, Right Honorable Speaker, this country only has, in terms of our foreign currency reserves, $4.8 billion. We will use that money for the purposes of maintaining monetary policy. That is managing inflation and exchange rate. So that money can no longer be used carelessly just for the purposes of subsidy. So I would want to support the recommendation by the Minister of making sure that the government of Uganda, through National Oil Company, gets involved in importing oil. And the only question I put to you is, this would require a substantial amount of money. You're going to bring in the, is it a policy or a law for us to consider? And I think you need to consider the budget framework of how much it will cost the country to import, but it's a good idea. The second issue, Mr. Speaker, regards the oil itself, the exploration, the excavation, and the enablements that we have put in place. I think we have spent substantial amount of money, it's over $4 billion, in the process of trying to put the airport, put the roads, invest some money with the National Oil Company, our responsibility to ECOP. Now, Right Honorable Speaker, from the numbers that we have, I always give numbers. If all the fuel is being pumped out, and taking considerations that we will pay off the investors with what we call cost oil, based on some calculations which I will not go into, this country will only be able to have, on average, $2 billion every year. In effect, 7.5 trillion shillings. Given the situation which we are in now, in terms of relying so much on debt, borrowing every financial year, this money will come in handy really to help us in our budget support. And therefore, what worries me though is that from the statistics the minister has given us, the central processing unit, we are only at 33% in terms of preparedness. And we only have this financial year, 2024, and by 2025, the CPU is the most essential component of, first of all, processing raw fuel before we put it through ECOP into Tanga for exports. Now, if we are not ready, if we are only at 33% now, even if the extract would happen today or tomorrow, we will not be able to process this oil and pass it through. The support, Right Honorable Speaker, that we need to give the minister is that we need to find out what is it that it will take for us to fast-track the CPU and make sure that by 2025, we can clean up this oil and take it to Tanga. Because as a budget person, as a finance guy, I really need to have our $2 billion by 2025 so that we can support our budget. One more minute.
Honorable, that's not how we work, please. No. Thank you. Now, please take your seat, Honorable. You've already done a good job. I need others to supplement on the good job you've done. Now, Honorable Minister, Honorable Mara raises a very critical point of support to UNOC, although you've said you're going to bring a law. Now, if this requires us amending the Petroleum Supply Act, and you are saying by January 2024, UNOC will be having that duty, we have only 2 months. Okay? So I'm looking at how feasible it is for you to bring a law. It takes 45 days in a committee. We debate it here. We have been sending bills to the president. We know how long it takes to send. Okay? So, time. I'm only saying this because of time. If you have to do it, bring the bill, because now we are about to go into another phase, we have only October and part of December. We don't have the whole of December. So I would urge you, if you have it, I don't want us colleagues to violate the rule on anticipation, but I would urge the minister, since you want this done, please bring the bill quickly and we do justice. Okay, Honorable Museveni was next.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for the statement. My interest is on the pipeline, Right Honorable Speaker. It happens that I come from Bende, where the pipeline is passing, going to Tanzania, even my constituency. But the issue, Right Honorable Speaker, I'm concerned with is compensation. ECOP, or the land was earmarked in 2018. That's when they started. And they made variations. But since then, most people have not been paid. And those who have been paid, they have been paid this year. But our concern is that they are paying or they are compensating people below the market price of land in the area. What they are doing, they are putting an uplift of 30%. But after 5 years, the Right Honorable Speaker, the land appreciation is higher than that. At first, when they came, they were telling people that after they have put the pipeline, people will continue using that land. But recently, they told us that we are not supposed to use that land. And that's why people were very reluctant with the places they were giving. And now they are saying, even if we refuse, it is compulsory, you must take the land. It's a government program. So, Right Honorable Speaker, people are cheated, and they are called upon the Parliament to get interested into the matter so that people are compensated properly. Another thing, Right Honorable Speaker, there's an unanswered question.
Honorable Member, the Minister is your colleague. Okay? So not all issues should come on the floor. First handle with the Minister. Once she fails, you bring a petition here.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I take the advice. Another thing is that, the Right Honorable Speaker, we are asking the question, at the time of trenching, how is the public going to be protected? They have not answered that question. Because they trench in order to lay the pipeline. But before they lay it, how is the public protected? They have taken, the pipeline is going through communities. It's going through even farms. They are going through the cattle corridor. If they pass through someone's farm and they trench, how are we going to protect the animals in those farms, even the people themselves? Those are unanswered questions, Right Honorable Speaker, where I need clarification. Thank you.
And Honorable Minister, these are issues of public engagement. The affected areas. Because not everyone watches TV. No, the MP want to reach everyone. It means you need to go in and you talk to the communities and you sensitize the communities, you tell them about the solutions you have. Honorable Teira.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And thank you, the Honorable Minister, for the report. On the issue of oil prices, I'm very glad that we are now thinking outside the box by charging UNOC our own to do the importation of the oil. Under the open tender system which has been used in Kenya, the private companies have always been putting a markup and a fairly good amount of money beyond 200, 300 shillings, which has been increasing the price. However, the information in the public domain is that it's the intention of government to use this markup not to bring the pump price down, but to generate more revenue for government until the Uganda National Company is stable enough
to fund its operations. I seek your clarification on that matter. Secondly, Honorable Minister, now that we are looking at one supplier of oil, which of course, like the Right Honorable Speaker guided, is work in progress and a process, one of the advantages the Kenyans have enjoyed is that they are given a grace period of about 180 days before they make the payments, which does not put a very big burden on the foreign exchange locally. It's a process to go through those negotiations. We do not anticipate this in the budget, and a lot of money that is required to facilitate national oil company to do this purchase. So it's a process. I'm finding it very unrealistic for the period of January 2024 to achieve this, yet it's highly desired by everyone around. Right Honourable Minister, I wish you could clarify on that issue. In the report regarding the oil and gas, you guided, among other issues, that the thermal plant in Tanzania is at 95% completion, and it is us supposed to feed them. But our pace, yet the Tanzanians, if I may borrow the local dialect, they are weeping more than they breathed, which is in a positive manner. They are running so fast, and we are going to hold them back after making such an investment. Are we not being very unrealistic business-wise when those who are supporting us in this endeavor, because we are the key beneficiaries of the oil project, have moved faster in everything? Actually, from the time of their legislation, they moved so fast and very.
Thank you. Please, I've already picked the members to speak. Emmanuel Rongiso, I hope, I usually call him Jonam. This one being his second name is a botanical name. It's very difficult. So.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I also want to thank you, Father, for reading my mind in as far as the issue of the law is concerned, because that was one of the reasons I stood up. And thank you, Minister, for the statement. But, Mr. Speaker, I have been in this House where similar statements are made. Every time the issues of palm prices going up, similar statements are made. The kind of statistics that are brought are the same. I am almost reaching a point where it's like, do we need such a statement when we know that it's going to be like the same all the time? The second point I want to bring is we know, as my colleague Honorable Okotogong has stated, that we have taxes on the oil, and some of it we know for sure is supposed to go to the road fund. And we also know, it has ever come in this House, that that bit of the money which is supposed to go to the road fund is not respected. A lot of times it first goes into the consolidated fund where it is allocated for any other. That bit which is supposed to go to the road fund doesn't go the way it is. Now, I am imagining, isn't it possible that if this money is not going to the road fund, can't it be part of the relief for persons who go to get fuel? If for every liter, I'm giving us an example, if for every liter we are supposed to tax 1,000, which was supposed to go to the road fund, and we know that it is not going there, why can't we say for this period that the price is high, this 1,000, which doesn't go to the road fund, we will not have it, so that maybe the pump price to the buyer is slightly low. That is what I'm thinking. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kwero Geoffrey.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, let me also start by thanking the Minister for providing us a twin statement and close to each other so that we can compare. Mr. Speaker, when the matter of oil prices came here, in a report presented by Committee of Trade, one of those issues that were identified was the gap in transportation of the fuel from Kenya to Uganda. And that the country, Uganda, was relying on the more expensive means of transporting oil products with fuel tankers on the roads. It was identified as a problem that, first of all, it was also making impact on our roads. In the same report, Mr. Speaker, it was identified that the rail transport would reduce these costs. And even the cost would reduce further if combination of rail and water were applied. Mr. Speaker, in the two reports, if you compare the first one with the second one, you find that there is a comprehensive strategy to transport the oil products in our oil industry internally to Tanzania and also to bring it here to Kampala. Mr. Speaker, this is lacking in the first report. May I seek clarification from the Minister about what they are going to do in the medium term, about reducing the cost of transportation of oil to this country, especially from Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I also represent a district with the most oil, Nuoya district. This Chilenga project is largely in Nuoya, with the most productive wells. And people have all sorts of questions. One of them is expectations that I would like the Minister to clarify on. Are we going to get cheaper oil of our own than the one we are importing, or what? I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Kero Geoffrey, you referred to the Committee on Trade, the report of the committee. One of the critical issues it was raising was also the issue of hoarding. Okay? The issue of hoarding having a very negative impact on the prices. So, Honorable Minister, we also want to know if you've handled the issue of hoarding, where these players just keep the oil and they want a windfall. And Ugandans are suffering. Rwampara, then Honorable Komakech, then Mutembri.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Allow me to thank the Minister for the two statements. And I want to speak to three issues. One of them is, whereas we are meant to believe that Uganda operates a liberalized downstream petroleum market, and that forces of demand and supply are the ones that determine our pump prices, I opine that it is actually not true, because these companies operate what we would term as an oligopolistic market structure, where we have elements of collusion and price fixing, either by the biggest companies or collectively together as companies. When we have this, it means we are at the mercy of these companies. So I want to commend the Honorable Minister that in your statement, you've come up with a clear, actionable strategy, price stabilization strategy, that is going to engage UNOC to participate in the purchases of oil products for us to be able to stabilize the prices once in a while. My fears are like the fears of my predecessor colleagues. We pray that you come up with actionable points, timelines, so that we can have that. Some of us believe we should have had it yesterday. Without engagement of government, prices of fuel in Uganda will always skyrocket and they will be out of control. You have our total support and we are looking forward to that. On the second presentation, I want to speak to the refinery project. Ugandans are yearningly waiting to see when we extract our oil and utilize it. You mentioned that we are waiting for an announcement of the winning bidder after the expiry of the current one, and you still mentioned that the contract of the current one expired on the 23rd of June 2023. So my clarification is that when are you announcing the winning bidder? And finally, my other issue is that whereas the pump price is mentioned 5,000 for diesel, 5,400 for petrol, in the outskirts, we who come from hard-to-reach areas, our local population buys fuel from 6,000 to 8,000. How are you going to protect such customers and consumers in such areas? I thank you.
Honorable Komakate.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. In the same spirit, I want to thank the able minister for the wonderful report you have presented in this August House. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm a proud Ugandan. And when I traveled to Saudi Arabia, the Arabs there told me one particular thing that interested me to love Uganda more than I already did. That Uganda is a rich country. And Uganda, in the 1959, used to feed them, the Arabs. Right, Honorable Speaker? In that same spirit of the wealth Uganda has, I want to read to you a list of aircrafts we have in Uganda. Uganda Airlines has 6 fleet of aircrafts. UPDF has about 12 MI.
Please, Honorable, the source?
The source is from Wikipedia, and it's public knowledge.
No. You've started now listing our classified.
Right, Honorable Speaker, this is public knowledge, and it's on.
Just you can submit without making Honorable Chweru uncomfortable.
Right, Honorable Speaker, there are Ugandans who own private jets. And Honorable Minister, in the statement, you spoke ably about fuel price, but you forgot to mention jet oil prices. Currently, UPDF uses taxpayers' money to purchase fuel for the jets. I would be so much interested in knowing how much money, as a country, we are spending. Are they cheating our country in terms of the fuel prices for our jets? I request, Right Honorable Speaker, that if it pleases you, in the near future, the Minister presents a statement about the prices of jet fuel in this House. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, honorable colleagues, please. Jenna wants to, I think, clarify something. Yeah. We take advantage.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues. I'm going to talk about fuel prices. When I watch the news, watch TV, I look around, I see the kings of the world are mobilizing for war, not for peace. And this is not about to end. It is going to continue for some time, and maybe up the time we end up burning this world. I want you to listen to this very seriously, because it is a very serious matter. As national leaders, we must watch these events with a very serious understanding. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of prices of fuel may not be able to come down very soon. In fact, time may come when we have the money, but you cannot buy fuel because it won't be there. The moment the Persian Gulf is on fire and other areas, I don't think you will be able to see the fuel you're talking about. Where will this Hoima of years go? First of all, the money you're using for trying to get fuel out of Hoima is not your money. People, it is borrowed money. And when the owners say we also have problems, what are you going to say? I would look at us starting to think about if you don't know how to ride a bicycle, you start learning on how to ride a bicycle. This is not a business as usual. This is a very different world. We are not in the 20th century.
Please, General.
We are in the 21st century.
General always look at me with kind eyes. You know.
I know. You love me. I know. We are in the 21st century, and things are very different. And as national leaders, we need to look at these things globally and be honest to ourselves and our country. Otherwise, you are going to hang some of these colleagues of ours, ministers, for no good reason. Some of the things are over and above their control. So I wanted to give that clarification. But things are not good. And then they are not about to improve. This world is about to burn.
Now, honorable colleagues, General has concluded as a general. Yeah, if he had concluded directly, he has it concluded in tongues. Then you go and you think about it. What he has told us is really, if you're watching global events, he has given a word of caution. As leaders, we have to look far. So, Honorable Minister, we shall wait for a signal to look far, and where you're taking us, we shall support you. Okay? Yes. I had allowed. Now, Honorable Panado, Ibanda, why are you uncomfortable? You see, in this house, we don't do this. When you want to speak, you stand. Hey, when you do this, it might end up being an abuse to the to minister. Hey, please. Here, when you want to speak, you stand.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to stand.
On standing, you don't need my permission, but continue.
Thank you very much. Madam Minister, thank you very much for the statement. But when the consumer listens to your statement, one can easily think that the kind of life we are living in East Africa is almost the same, because you compared petrol prices in Kenya, in Tanzania, and Uganda, but you didn't compare the prices of essential commodities. Yes, it is also important, because the price of fuel affects the prices of other commodities. It is also important to compare both, so that when we find a difference, we come up with a solution so that our local people are also able to survive. Because as I speak, we have Ugandans who cannot afford a piece of soap. They can spend 6 months without washing clothes, without washing dishes, because they don't have money. We have those people, yes. We have those people in Uganda who are still suffering. They cannot afford the price of soap, the price of sugar and everything. So if we try to compare prices of fuel with prices of other essential commodities, there we can be able to see whether we are living a similar kind of life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Maybe for my macroeconomists like Max, I think the issue would be the contribution of fuel prices, escalating fuel prices to inflation. Okay? To inflation. No, honorable colleagues, let's continue. Honorable Mutembli, we conclude with the court.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I also join colleagues in thanking the Minister for the statement. I do support the creation of monopoly for UNOC. However, reading the statement, I want the Minister to relate the two. At first, you say that Uganda is operating a liberalized economy. And then later, we are creating a monopoly. Perhaps you explain to us further as to how the two will work. And then two, you're saying you want to have an amendment to the Petroleum Supply Act. I remember the last time we're inviting you to regulate the fuel prices, you said you had no power under the law. And I'm saying, can we now take advantage of this amendment so that we create a closer provision in the Petroleum Supply Act that will mandate either the minister or the authority in certain circumstances, for instance, where there is hoarding, that the minister can come in and regulate the fuel prices. Because last time you said you have no powers under the law. Now that you're intending to amend this particular act, can't we have that as also part of the amendment so that in the future, if we have such a situation where there is hoarding and so on, as a minister, you can come in and regulate the prices? Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Court.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Minister for the two statements. I'll reduce my submission to statement on the oil and gas sector. Right Honorable Speaker, yesterday the Youth Forum of this Parliament held a successful Youth Business Summit that was presided over by the President of this country. It was very clear from that business forum that the gravest contemporary challenge of the young Ugandans now is unemployment. And over the years, the oil and gas sector has been positioned as the sector that will save Ugandans of this disease of unemployment. Right Honorable Speaker, I understand that we have a raft of plans for local content development and capacity building in the oil and gas sector to ensure that Ugandans benefit. It is also very clear, Right Honorable Speaker, that local content in the oil and gas sector is fundamentally about building a sustainable future for our nation. My question to the Minister is that since we are talking about the status of the oil and gas sector, what is the status of the local content development and capacity building of Ugandans, not only for lower cadre jobs in the oil and gas sector, but also the senior cadre jobs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I think you can try to summarize the issues of 20 people. Issues are many, so try to summarize.
First of all, thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, for your submission. You've improved my statements. The first statement was on the rising prices of fuel in Uganda. And Right Honorable Speaker, I concentrated on the causes of the rising prices and what government is doing. And what government is doing is that we realize that we do not have a law that will allow the minister or a government company to come in and mitigate the problem. In summary, I am saying that the law I am bringing, which is going to be a bill amending the Petroleum Supply Act of 2003, which Cabinet has passed this Monday. And Right Honorable Speaker, you also raised the concern about timelines, that you will be going for recess, and yet we've given a deadline of January 2024 to Kenyan government, because the president sent me to talk to President Ruto about this new policy directive. And we want UNOC to be able to nominate so that beginning January, we will not be going through the Kenyan system of G2G, government to government, where they have committed us to take the products at whatever cost. So we want to run away from that. And therefore I want to plead that all the questions that have been raised regarding that act, that amendment bill which I'm bringing, be reserved and wait until the bill is put before Parliament, first reading, and then the committee, and then we discuss the report. So I would like to beg that I am saved out of that, and given that we don't have time.
No, the rules don't even allow us, Honorable Minister. Rule 80.
Exactly. Yeah. Then that leaves me with the second statement, where generally speaking, first of all, members are concerned about the shifting time frames. You talked about 2023 to see first oil. Then you talked about May 2025. Now you are talking about end of 2025. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I think let's focus on the factors that make us give different timelines. They are anticipated factors. You are all aware of the bad campaign against fossil fuel development that has been going around in the world. And we have been countering, and I'm happy to note that the world is now calm. And we are moving on with our developments upstream, midstream, and downstream. They are financing institutions that announce that they are not going to put any money, they are not going to finance anything to do with fossil fuel development. They are there. So we had to move around to make sure that, first of all, we tell the world that it is unfair and just to think that Uganda will move with the rest of the world on energy transition. Because we are not starting from the same point. We are starting from darkness. They are starting from this light. We don't have even light. So to tell Uganda not to develop our petroleum resources is unjust. The world has had that. And God is the fairest. The world is suffering now insecurity of gas in America, in Europe, and they've gone back to using coal. Where is the audacity you have to tell Uganda not to develop our petroleum resources? So those are the factors that have made us to delay on announcement of the final investment decision. So we anticipate that if we get the FID announced for midstream, we'll be able to fast track these infrastructures. And also there is a colleague who asked about funding. I think was the first person to ask a question, Honorable Seko. And his question was pertinent. The funding of ECOP, East African Crude Oil Pipeline, has faced challenges because of the NGOs and civil society organizations that have been decampaigning the development. So these are the factors that are making us to shift the deadlines. But as I speak now, Right Honorable Speaker, as I've told you, upstream development is going on very well. And I wouldn't like my colleague to fear that because we have 457 wells to drill, only 11, 8 from Tilenga and 3 from Kingfisher. No, the drilling started this year. And the good thing is that those who are in charge of drilling, they are shareholders together with government. So those who are in charge of ECOP, we are also shareholders. So we are in it together. And the financing is based on 60 to 40, equity and debt. We can't run away from debt. So I want to stand here and promise that if we are to go by the current situation, we are sure that by 2025, the wells will have been reached. And there is no way you can pull out crude oil when there is no storage for it. The central processing facilities are within the developers. Tilenga has one, Kingfisher has one. They know that it is important to drill, but when you are ready that, the primary processing will be done. So this is not about the neighbor helping you. You are the one in it. So I am not scared, Right Honorable Speaker. I know that these developers will make sure that both programs, central processing and then the drilling itself, are in tandem. What about the airport? I want to thank you, colleague, who raised the issue of the airport. It was an omission, and it is important that this airport, that the development or progress of the airport is brought out. This infrastructure is developed by the Ministry of Works, but I've been following. I know that it's at 95% complete. And when you come down on the ground, you'll be able to see it. Right Honorable. I don't know. Okay, the e-mobility. You are right, Right Honorable Speaker, to always remind us in the ministry that as we drill our petroleum, we are abreast with the fact that the world is moving towards e-mobility. We are aware, and we know that there are critical minerals which facilitate e-mobility to make batteries and the rest. That's why we've come with laws to ban exportation of unprocessed minerals. We have piloted on this. We have border borders, which are electric border borders, and we have a filling station in Busega, in Kampala, where these border borders are filling. And we are also planning to see how we can help the refugees to also reduce on the fuel, the border borders which use diesel, because refugees are in queer situation and they sell diesel in bottles. So we want to see how the World Bank project can help us to do that. So we are trying to align ourselves with the e-mobility. And you know what Chira Motors has done. And so in the nearest future, we will first of all enhance the policy so that we don't let people again suffer. You remove the border borders which use fossil fuel, yet you are not ready with the e-mobility. I try to summarize, but I promise that where I have been found not to have given information like on the local content, it is a wide thing to give you information on how many Ugandans have gotten the jobs, how much are we expecting. I have written down all the questions. I'll be able to pluck out where I've not given information so that I continue interacting with my people. I want to end by thanking you so much for your support, colleagues, Right Honorable Speaker, and may God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, when you get ready, I think you need to go back, you sit with your technical people on the issue of e-mobility. You come, we discuss it separately. Because the biggest issue with e-mobility is charging stations. Leave around minerals, leave around what, and we shouldn't reduce it to borders. Private cars. Because now I've seen Mercedes, I think Toyota, they are saying they are stopping producing oil-consumptive vehicles by 2030. Okay? So, by 2030. So, meaning, no, by the what is so interesting, oil, the issues, I've read some very interesting report. You should never be scared about oil for driving. That's a very, very small portion of oil. Oil is used for very many other things, is needed for very many other things. Okay? So that one, that one is not a big issue. But the issue is charging stations. I don't know what we can do about it. We are about, the word is about stop manufacturing vehicles that use oil and gas. And the penalties are so huge. The penalties are so huge, whereby car manufacturing companies, they are going to be looking at their carbon footprint, and most of it is on the vehicle they are producing. So you need to ask your people, what are we doing about, if you put up charging stations, or if we could guide Ugandans, because in many countries, for example, Honorable Minister, nearly every shopping mall, people, you've been traveling, nearly every shopping mall has charging station. As people are shopping, the car is charging for free. Churches, schools, all public places. And then, even in people's homes, people are putting, but now people are still scared. What would be the cost of a charging station? For how long would it charge? If I reach in Masaka, would I need to charge again? If I go to Mitoma, will I charge again? So you need to look at it deeply, so that we first address the issue of the low-hanging fruit in terms of e-mobility, and then electric cars will start coming in. Thank you, Honourable Minister. And I'll give you space anytime you feel ready on that. Thank you. Colleagues, the next item we have on the order paper, I've discussed with the Honourable Wanda Richard. There are some consultations we need to make on it, and I will need to hold the meeting between the minister and the movers. We first address a few things which came in today, and then we shall determine on how to handle this petition later. Honourable Minister, I forwarded that petition to you. I need some response by Monday, so that on Tuesday we can hold that critical meeting to address the salient issues, and then we move forward. Thank you. So we move to item number 6.
Item number 6, motion for resolution of Parliament to adopt the recommendations contained in the Auditor General's report for the financial year ended 30th June 2022.
Now, Honourable Commissioner, before you come, I've received a notification from Honourable Christine that they have finished one report which they have ready. But I made an announcement the other week. Colleagues, the Constitution is very clear. We must adopt accountability committee reports, Auditor General's reports, within 6 months. We are already behind schedule. It's mandatory. We don't have a negotiation. We don't have room for flexibility. Now, we have gone ahead. We sorted COSASE. We sorted Park Central or pending reports, so that the Minister of Finance is able now to go and take action. Our partners are telling finance, no, why aren't you taking action on Auditor General's reports? Finance says, no, there is no action I can take before Parliament adopts, as per the law. So we are the ones being blamed. That's why in 10th Parliament, that practice started, where we adopt so that finance is able to go and process treasury memorandums, which are action taken reports. Now, the report which I've been told is ready, I don't know about it, because when a report is not yet with the speaker, okay, it cannot be presented. Number two, I don't know, the report might be recommending that you remove me from my seat. So I can't preside over a report I haven't read, for which I'm, I can never. Colleagues, if you've been watching me, I come to Parliament usually around 11 midday. Reason being, I stay somewhere to read. When I reach here, I don't read. So I can't preside over a document I've not read. So I want to thank you, Honorable Christine, but maybe you wanted to say something?
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker, for your observation. I'm aware that you gave guidance to all the accountability committees. And Right Honourable Speaker, as a member of the committee, and also having looked at the findings from both the committee meetings and the field, we feel it critical to present a few of these recommendations. I want to beg, on behalf of the Chair, Park Local Government, that you give us just 10 minutes to make a summary of this report.
Let me guide on a report. When a report is done, you submit it to the clerk, so that we first recognize it as a report that has been submitted by a committee. Then I get a copy, I read through. If there are issues, I guide. Okay? Now the report, the clerk does not know about it. So there is no way I can accept a report on the floor. And by the way, chairpersons, if you didn't know the powers of the clerk, if you don't produce, if the report is not done with the clerk, that report can never come here. That's what the rules are very, very clear. Okay? So now the clerk doesn't know about it. I can't start bringing items here and we go into situations. But I'm meeting chairpersons of accountability committees on Tuesday to look through these issues that are done. And then I also guided, when you are processing Auditor General's reports, I've had the field. I don't know what an accountability committee is doing in a field. That's a sectoral committee which does oversight. An accountability committee does not go to the field. You're not auditors. An accountability committee, when you receive the Auditor General's report, you should invite the accounting officer, okay? After inviting the accounting officer, you look at the management letter, you look at the exit, at the exit meeting report, and you see whether the Auditor General left behind critical issues. Now, if you want to go and start a new audit, okay? Then that's why you don't finish, you're getting it wrong. You don't have that expertise and time. That's why we have a government Auditor General. And Honorable Nangor has been guiding very well on this. So please, I'll meet you and I guide you. I have also told the clerk to Parliament to get the audit book and ensure all members receive copies of the audit book so that we know where we stop when we are handling reports of the Auditor General. Otherwise, Parliament will never finish our work. Shall be here and there and will remain in between. I also wanted to guide. I had promised that I would guide on the issue of handling treasury memoranda. Now, a treasury memoranda is the final stage of the auditing cycle, according to the Audit Act. So the moment it goes back to the Auditor General, then you've closed the auditing. And I think it was in the 9th Parliament or 10th Parliament, when Parliament was stuck, because the law, the PFMA was only saying it goes to Parliament, but the handling process. So that's when Parliament says it's brought to Parliament, and then the Speaker refers it to the Auditor General. But now, when I was reading the law last night, I tried to look when the law is not clear. You also go to the intention. You start going deep. I said, you mean there is anyone who did a law that reports, Auditor General's reports should be adopted within 6 months, and then the accountability committee sit idle for another 6 months? That's what it would mean, the current law, the way it is. So I have instructed the clerk to assess it with our legal team and the Auditor General, and we see if the handling of the Treasury memoranda would include returning it to the committee that made recommendations to see whether its recommendations were implemented, and then from there for around 30 days, from there then it's sent to the Auditor General to conclude the auditing cycle. So I will give a concrete guidance on Tuesday after that, because I was getting many members saying, so for 6 months are we going to be idle? You can't be idle because you have sector committees, but also as a committee we need to look at your work. And on Tuesday I wanted to consult widely so that we get a very clear guidance. Whether it means amending rules, we shall look into it. But on Tuesday I'll give a full guidance. Thank you. Commissioner?